In this video we're going to be looking over this Canon AF35M 35mm film camera, and in order to put it through some basic tests I have a scrap roll of film and a pair of AA batteries. Now these are not included with the sale, but they're just here for our testing purposes, and I hope that the tests that I'm about to show are the things that you would want to do if you were checking over this camera yourself and assessing its condition. Now if we take off the lens cap, we can see here it's got a nice fast 38mm f2.8 lens, and here's where you set the ASA value. You might think of it more as the ISO value these days, but it was always ASA when I was doing a lot of photography. We can set it at 400, that's as high as it goes. And then let's load the batteries. Now here is the battery door on the bottom here. Just pull this over to the side a little bit and it flips up. Contacts are nice and clean here on the inside of the door, as well as the ones that are down inside. We can see nice and clean. So let's drop in these batteries, one facing this way and one facing this way according to the little diagram inside. And then if we open up the back, pushing this little button, the door swings open. Everything looks pretty good in here. This camera has a nice design that it doesn't require any foam light seals really, because everything just fits, and so that's nice. Let's run the film leader across, and I'll just tuck this into one of the slots in the take-up spool. And then we can not as good as this as I used to be when I used to do it all the time. There, okay. Now we'll close the door, and we have to pop off a few pictures here to use up the film that's exposed in the loading process. But we can see here it's counting up. And I think that's about 3 times to get up to picture number 1. Now if we point this at us here and watch, we'll see the lens move to focus and the shutter operate. Okay, now I thought we'd try out the flash, and to do that we just push this lever over right here and the flash pops up, and then the flash starts charging. In fact, it's already charged. There's the little light. So if I just point this off here in this direction, and we'll see there was the flash. That worked really good. One thing I noticed about this camera is that you can't simply just push the flash down. You have to kind of push that little knob back over, and I don't think you're supposed to have to do that. It's not like it's a problem. You can pop it up, but to push it down you have to just make sure that's all the way over. So just be aware of that. I think there's supposed to be a spring return, and it doesn't work quite the way it's supposed to. Let's try out the self timer. Now we pull down this lever right here, and then we'll point this here at us. And there's no real beep or anything going on that tells us that it's working on the cycle, but pretty soon we'll see that it completes. And there it did. So with that, that's really about all I need to show. So I'm just going to shoot off the rest of the pictures in this little short roll. It isn't a very long roll, it's just a test roll I put together. Okay, so now we've reached the end. Now to rewind the film on this camera, it's kind of you have to do it. And first you push this little button here on the bottom, and then you push this lever over, and we see the film counter counting down, and eventually the film breaks free, and then we know that it's safe to open this up, and all of the film has been wound back into the cartridge. And if this were a real roll of film, we could have that processed. So ultimately it's a fairly nice example of this camera, of course, with a very nice clean battery compartment. An awful lot of cameras that use AA batteries were put away and forgotten about for years or decades, and the batteries have leaked and made a mess. This one, everything is just sparkling and clean inside, so that's really nice. The only really little issue that I noticed was with that flash pop-up, that you can't simply just push it down. You have to kind of manually push that little lever over. It has this lens cap that is tethered here, and the strap. So all in all, a fairly nice example of the Canon AF35M.